don't go, and pay very close attention. There's a reason why this message found you. There is a spiritual secret that is so strong that if you really remember it right now, nothing or anyone will ever be able to control you again. No one has ever been brave enough to tell you this. Many years have passed since this secret was kept. But Thoth, the great teacher, told them exactly where to look. Not so fast. This isn't just old history. Here we have quantum mechanics. I will show you how your soul, or quantum signature, will remember who you are as soon as you understand this. And it will seem like magic. Everything in your life that is making you feel lost, stuck, or hurt will start to get in order. Do you understand why you feel so empty? That deep-seated feeling that something is missing? That's because the whole world, or collective, is set up to make you forget who you really are. Quantum physicists refer to this programming as an observer loop, which is a cycle in which your mind keeps squeezing the same chances together to produce the same limited reality every day. They taught you to be different from who you are. And as long as you remember, you have to do what they say. You take in. You hide your real light that will no longer be the case today. I'm going to show you where Thoth's secret is kept. But first, you need to know something that will really shock you. Everything you're looking for out there is already inside you, as a blueprint in the quantum field, waiting for you to see it come true. I'll also tell you where that memory is hidden at the end of this video, not in a holy book or an old temple, but in something you carry around with you every day but have never really thought about. Are you all set? Because you can't go back after hearing this. The key that frees your soul has been hidden for hundreds of years. Now that you know where it is, there it is. And the coolest thing is, it was talked about by civilizations that were split up by huge oceans and mountains and never met. How is that possible? Not even a phone or the internet worked. Some of the smartest people in Egypt, India, and Greece still said that the soul doesn't awaken at birth. It goes to sleep. These days, birth is the start of everything. But in these old cultures, birth was the start of forgetting. They taught that your soul came from the quantum field, a place with endless possibilities, a spot where everything was clear, there was no separation, and the memory of your strong, true self was alive and beating. But something happens when they enter a physical body. It's like a veil is covering your awareness. Your limitless consciousness agrees to narrow its view, and in doing so, it loses sight of how big it is. In Egypt, Thoth said that the body wasn't the question. The problem is that you think you are only your body. The Indian wise men called this forgetting Maya, the great illusion, is a reality feedback loop in which what you see shapes what you believe, and what you believe shapes what you see. Philosophers in ancient Greece said that the soul fell into a cycle of repetition and forgot where it came from in God. Can you see the pattern? The truth is the same for everyone, but there's something even stranger. Not just anyone got this information written down. The master taught this knowledge to his student in secret, in rooms deep inside temples that not many people were allowed to enter. Why? Because they knew some people weren't ready yet. The observer effect is the idea that your awareness creates your reality. If a normal person got access to this truth without being ready, their ego could use it to control them, make them feel better about themselves, or even break their own mind. These masters knew that you can only understand real wisdom if your heart is open. Just wanting to know isn't enough. You need to be ready to live what you learn. That's why there was silence in those temples, because being quiet doesn't mean something bad. People who were looking for quick answers didn't find any. But those who stayed in the silence started to hear something that wasn't written down anywhere. They started to remember. Before we go through those temple doors, I want you to get on board with this journey. It's not just a click to subscribe to this channel. It's a strong statement. It's you telling the universe, I'm ready to receive the frequencies of remembering. It opens up your quantum field to the truths we are about to reveal. What did happen in those temples, though? What kind of event could help a soul remember who it is? That's what you're about to find out. We're about to go through those doors and tell you what took place in the hidden rooms. Prepare. In no way was this a ritual. The whole false reality was thrown off balance. There were no people in the temples when the doors shut behind the chosen few. The show did not happen. There was no sound and no light. Because your soul had to forget who it thought it was before it could remember who it was. That's where the crossing began. A trip that few people could handle. There was no sound or light in the room where the initiates were taken. They were shown how to become very still. Over time, something inside them started to fall apart. It wasn't the body itself. It was the character, the mask. What they called their self for years. The only goal of this process was to break the observer loop. Your mind can't collapse the same old reality when your senses can't lock on to anything familiar, like light, sound, or patterns. It is pushed into nothingness. Their stories started to fall apart about who they were. No longer did the name, the job, the status, or the opinions matter. Thoth taught that this was the most important time. The moment when the ego, which is a program designed to keep the loop going, realizes it has no power, it fights back. It uses doubt, fear, and false visions to keep the initiate stuck in the old self. For the ego, this empty space looks like death. This is the most shocking part. The initiate didn't get any new information. No master told them what life was all about, because outside sources don't really teach us anything. It is remembered deep down. It happens when you stop giving your attention to the false patterns. What was there before is still there. Imagine being in the middle of nothingness. No names, beliefs, or stories to hold on to. You alone and naked in front of your own mind. For many, this was too much to bear. Some gave up, others went crazy and rushed to fix their masks. The few people who did stay, though, saw or heard something that changed everything. They could remember it was a truth that was so deep that words can't explain it. A frequency shift happened. Everything made sense for a short time. The world, life and death in that perfect quantum silence. Everything fit together. But Thoth warned that it was dangerous to go through that portal without being ready. If you remember too soon, it could mess up your mind. Imagine someone who has been through a lot of trauma and unprocessed fear suddenly being able to use their observer effect to its fullest and most creative potential. It's too much. They could get lost and make up new lies instead of finding freedom. In order to avoid this, the masters said, do not seek this out of curiosity. You could end up making a new, more difficult prison if you try to remember who you are before you clear the ground of your mind. You now know what could go wrong if you use your power before you're ready. And it's clear that the first thing that stands in the way is a wall you can't see that controls almost everything in your life. It was known to Thoth as the lie of the self. It's known as the ego. This is where most people give up without even realizing it. Because who has the guts to look themselves in the mirror and say they've been lying to themselves their whole lives? First, there's that wall. It's not outside of you. The observer loop is it. It's everything you think you are added together. You were trained from the moment you were born. Your boss told you what to think about love, getting things done, failing, and yourself. You thought it was true. It wasn't because you were weak, but because no one taught you to question it. You should ask yourself how many times today you've stopped to notice your own thoughts. How many times have you asked them where they got to? Because most of the things you think every day aren't yours. They happen automatically over and over. They are programs that are running in the background, using up your energy and making your observer keep making the same limited patterns. This is the start of the first real practice. There's no magic in it. The answer is clear, simple, and very hard. Pay attention to a bad thought that comes to you, "I'm not good enough," or "that will never work," are two that come up all the time. Now ask yourself what Thoth taught his followers. Is this thought really mine? Or was it something I was born with? This one question could break through the walls of your prison. Somehow, when you understand that a lot of your emotional pain was learned, it makes you feel broken. There is no destruction. That's freedom. Each thought you question breaks a chain. In the event that this realization hits you deeply, I want you to hold on to it right now. In the comments, say it out loud. I am not my thoughts. This is what you want to say to your own quantum field. As you write it, the old energetic ties start to break. You're not the program. It is your consciousness that sees it. But now comes the tricky part. The ego will fight because it was made to protect this false identity. It will try to make you think that giving up these beliefs is bad for you. It will ask, who will you be without these thoughts? But the truth is that those thoughts were never you. It was just a habit, something that needs your attention. If you can feel this truth already, know that sending this message to others is a powerful quantum act. You are sending this frequency of freedom out into the world as a whole. Other souls who are also ready to break free from their programming, like you, are finding this message thanks to the morphic resonance you're producing. And something new happens in the space where those thoughts used to be. There is silence. That quiet might feel scary at first. You've been making noise in it all your life. You'll start to understand, though, that this silence isn't empty. It's full. The quantum field is it. It's the place where something old can come back, because when the first illusion falls, things that have been sleeping since you were born start to wake up. It's not a new skill. A memory that is quiet, an echo of the frequency you really are. And as it goes up, everything you thought you knew about life starts to make no sense. You need to change the way you live, and that's just the start of the change. As you start to feel that old identity breaking down, I want you to ground this change. Click the like button. This is not for an algorithm. It is a powerful energetic agreement in the real world. Your cells and the quantum field will both get the message that you are no longer identifying with the lie of the self. You are becoming your true self. Because when that something wakes up, it starts to lead your life in a way you've never known before. Something strange happens when that memory starts to come back to you. You understand for the first time that there is a way to know other than seeing a quiet awareness that doesn't think about or judge anything. It just knows. It was known to Thoth as the single eye. This is known as quantum sensitivity. It's not a third eye of magic. When you're in this state, you don't need to be told the truth because you feel it before you think it. You've already been through this, even if it was only for a short time. You know how sometimes when you walk into a room, something just feels off for no reason? You meet someone and feel like they're not being honest, even though they say nice things. That's how your quantum sensitivity works. That's your soul picking up on the truth in vibration, the frequency behind what it looks like. I want you to honor this feeling right now if you have ever had it, even if it was just once. In order to get things going, like this video, just click that button to say yes to your own inner guidance. You are telling the universe that you are open and ready to sense the truth beyond the physical by raising your quantum sensitivity. But why does this sense not work well for most people? Because you were taught to believe only what you can see and show. People praised data and logic. It forgot about the strong, silent gut feeling that is always there. The world that is already set in your physical eyes is a collapsed reality. The potential reality is felt by your quantum sensitivity. It can pick up on the probability waves before they break apart. And now for the first simple practice that will change your life. Close your eyes for a short time. Don't keep looking for answers. Stop making noise in your head. To begin, just be quiet for 10 seconds. Do not expect anything. Do not look. Feel something. Something comes out of that small space of silence. It might feel like nothing at first. That nothing is everything, though the quantum field is it. That silence is when your quantum sensitivity comes to life. When you clear your mind of all the noise, you realize that something bigger is going on inside you, something that doesn't have a name or shape. If you keep looking for answers in your head, you will only find old ideas that have been used before. But the answers don't come as thoughts when you start to feel with this direct way of seeing things. They show up as clear. This is so clear that it doesn't need words. If you've ever felt truth, even if it was only for a second, it's time to honor it. I want you to say this in the comments. I trust my inner knowing. It's not just a phrase. This is a message to your own mind. The felt truth of your soul is more important to you than the noise of the collective loop. You are turning your inner compass around. However, this view is only the start. It's like getting through a locked door with a crack. The light is coming in, but on the other side, there is something more. Because the first step is to understand the truth. One more thing is living from it. The next step has something that no teacher or book can teach you. It is the unique vibration of your soul, a sound that you can only hear and not teach. Right now, there is something vibrating inside you that has always been there. It's not a voice that talks. You can't hear it with your ears. It is a frequency that is quiet, an energy that is so private and close that most people don't even notice it's there their whole lives. It was known to Thoth as the invisible name. Your quantum signature is what we call it. This isn't a name like John or Mary. You don't need a single letter to describe who you really are. Your sound does it. It is the universe's record of your soul, and no one else can copy it. This is really important. Your frequency is who you really are. Feel this truth, even if it's just a faint echo. Make it real for yourself. What do you think? I honor my soul's frequency. This act should be a tuning fork. The universe is getting a clear message from you that you are ready to stop listening to the world's static and start aligning with your own powerful vibration. You already felt it, even though you couldn't put your finger on it. You know that moment of deep peace where nothing has changed but everything feels right for a second? Or that strong feeling you get when you have no idea what to do and your mind is blank, but something inside you already knows? This frequency can be heard in those short gaps of silence. Not as an idea, but as a sure, quiet belief that can't be changed. This name doesn't limit you like the names they gave you. Your job, your past, or the way you look don't define you. It's the pure vibration of who you are. The most strange thing is that you've heard this sound your whole life. Not with your ears, but with your heart, it has been calling to you. But the worries, distractions, and expectations of the world drowned it out. On top of that initial, pure vibration, it piled layers and layers of incoherent frequencies. But it didn't go away. It went silent and waited for you to make enough noise to hear it again. When you hear that sound inside you, your invisible name, everything changes. You understand that the answers you were looking for were all along in you. It wasn't a lack of something outside that made me feel empty. It was the lack of this connection with yourself. But pay close attention. It does more than just bring peace when that frequency wakes up. Everything that's been hidden inside you starts to come out in the open. Even the parts you tried to forget. The sound of your soul doesn't just remind you of who you are. It also brings up the things you tried to delete. You need to go through that door next to it. It's not just about light when you remember. It's about being brave enough to see your own shadow and face it. When the quiet sound of your soul starts to get stronger, something has to happen. When you remember who you really are, you also remember what hurt you, because there is no real light that doesn't shine on the dark things too. A lot of people give up here. Finding peace is simple. It's tough to deal with the hurt. This was what Thoth called soul purification. In no way is it a punishment. It cleans your body naturally. The old, low-frequency patterns are being replaced by your new, higher coherence. Think of your soul as a river that has filled up with rocks and other things over time. The water is still there, but it can't move. To clean the water, all that needs to be done is to let it flow freely again. But you have to be brave to see what's blocking the river in order to do that. What are these hurts? You tried to forget about them. The wounds from being a child. You told yourself those hurtful words over and over again for years. When things happened that made you feel like you weren't good enough or worthy of love, that hurt too much for you to remember, so it was stored in your energy field. But here's the most important thing I learned on this trip. You are only running away from the pain, so it keeps happening. The pain gets worse every time you push it away. It weighs you down every time you hide how you feel. Something changes as soon as you choose to look at it, to observe it without judging it. The pain starts to go away. This is a holy choice. Stop running away from your problems and face them with love right now. This is your choice. Click the like button. Let this be a physical statement that you are using the healing power of your own observation to make things better. You are no longer adding to the pain by resisting it. Your light is melting it away. It's not because you fight it. However, because you finally see it. You stop giving it food by being resistant. You're like the sun shining on a piece of ice. You shouldn't fight the ice. It just melts away in your warm presence. That's when the pain loses its power. It stops being a prison and turns into a memory. This is a very important moment. The shadow is just a part of us that wants to be seen. Many of us try to hide from it. Say this sacred choice in the comments if you're ready to stop running and start integrating. I see my pain without becoming it. These words should send a strong message to your body and energy field. They are saying that they are no longer identifying with the wound and that they are the loving, vast presence that is finally healing it. After that, what do you know? Your spirit starts to take over. Your mind stops being in charge for the first time and turns into a tool, which is what it was always meant to be. Your mind, which is hooked on the observer loop, was setting the pace up until now. It chose what to be scared of and what to believe. But when the soul wakes up, it walks alone without a doubt. Peace be with you. At this point, you feel a silence inside you that you've never felt before. It's not nothing. It's being full, being free from thoughts is what it's all about. Not having any thoughts at all. Now for a new question. The mind was in charge for a long time. What happens to it now that the soul is in charge? Will it just move out of the way? Or will it try to get back in charge? When the quiet sound of your soul starts to get stronger, something has to happen. When you remember who you really are, you also remember what hurt you, because there is no real light that doesn't shine on the dark things too. A lot of people give up here. Finding peace is simple. It's tough to deal with the hurt. This was what Thoth called soul purification. In no way is it a punishment. It cleans your body naturally. The old, low-frequency patterns are being replaced by your new, higher coherence. Think of your soul as a river that has filled up with rocks and other things over time. The water is still there, but it can't move. To clean the water, all that needs to be done is to let it flow freely again, but you have to be brave to see what's blocking the river in order to do that. What are these hurts? You tried to forget about them, the wounds from being a child. You told yourself those hurtful words over and over again for years. When things happened that made you feel like you weren't good enough or worthy of love, that hurt too much for you to remember, so it was stored in your energy field. But here's the most important thing I learned on this trip. You are only running away from the pain, so it keeps happening. The pain gets worse every time you push it away. It weighs you down every time you hide how you feel. Something changes as soon as you choose to look at it, to observe it without judging it. The pain starts to go away. This is a holy choice. Stop running away from your problems and face them with love right now. This is your choice. Click the like button. Let this be a physical statement that you are using the healing power of your own observation to make things better. You are no longer adding to the pain by resisting it. Your light is melting it away. It's not because you fight it. However, because you finally see it, you stop giving it food by being resistant. You're like the sun shining on a piece of ice. You shouldn't fight the ice. It just melts away in your warm presence. That's when the pain loses its power. It stops being a prison and turns into a memory. This is a very important moment. The shadow is just a part of us that wants to be seen. Many of us try to hide from it. Say this sacred choice in the comments if you're ready to stop running and start integrating. I see my pain without becoming it. These words should send a strong message to your body and energy field. They are saying that they are no longer identifying with the wound and that they are the loving, vast presence that is finally healing it. After that, what do you know? Your spirit starts to take over. Your mind stops being in charge for the first time and turns into a tool, which is what it was always meant to be. Your mind, which is hooked on the observer loop, was setting the pace up until now. It chose what to be scared of and what to believe. But when the soul wakes up, it walks alone without a doubt. Peace be with you. At this point, you feel a silence inside you that you've never felt before. It's not nothing. It's being full, being free from thoughts is what it's all about. Not having any thoughts at all. Now for a new question. The mind was in charge for a long time. What happens to it now that the soul is in charge? Will it just move out of the way? Or will it try to get back in charge? It's easy to remember who you are when you're alone. It's hard to remember things when everyone is trying to make you forget them. He said, "The true alchemist is the one who walks awake among the asleep and doesn't let them put him back to sleep. Things will go on without you. The demands keep coming. Fear and lack will keep being shown on the news. People around you will keep trying to get you to play the old game, even if they are not aware of it. It's the strong, regular frequency of humanity's observer loop. It's called the collective morphic resonance. A strong magnetic pull is pulling on it. Here is where you decide who is in charge. Your soul, which makes sense, or the noise of the world. In real life, this starts with little things. The first is being aware of being there. Being where your body is what this means. You should be there if you're washing dishes. Pay attention when someone is talking. Do not let your thoughts wander. It's easy, but you have to train at it all the time. The second step is to be quiet. Even when people are arguing loudly, there can be a quiet place inside. There's no need to keep quiet. It has to do with not automatically reacting. It's the very short time between the trigger and your response. That's where your freedom is. You choose what chance you will collapse next in that space. Paying attention to what you eat is the third point. This is called frequency hygiene. Your vibration is raised by everything you see, hear, and say. Your frequency goes down if you feed on fear. Being around people who only complain makes you feel bad. Picking and choosing what you think about is a spiritual defense. This practice changes you over time. The things that used to bother you no longer do. People who used to bother you are less powerful now that they can't make you angry. The mind doesn't like giving up control, though. It will tell you that you're not having fun. It will say that this is not true. You need to remember who is in charge at that time. Something amazing will happen if you keep practicing. Increased quantum sensitivity. You start to remember things that you thought were gone. At some point, you start to remember other times and places. Quantum scientists call these temporal echoes, and they can show up as a vivid dream, a strong intuition, or the feeling of déjà vu. You're not making this up. It means that your mind is becoming more flexible so that you can access information from outside of your current linear timeline. Now I have a new question. If these memories are coming back to you, what else does your soul know that you don't know? Those strange memories and feelings don't come up in a planned or logical way when they do. They come in pieces, like old feelings you can't explain. A lot of people trip here. They run outside because they don't know what's inside. These people look for books, teachers, gurus, and more classes. They give up their power to someone else in a desperate attempt to make sense of how they feel. But Thoth was sure. The real master has never been somewhere else. They are the only ones who can show you the way through the blind spots that no one else can see. He is inside all the time, and he doesn't talk like a person. Your awakened quantum sensitivity is how he talks to you. The voice is quiet and soft, and it doesn't persuade you. It knows for sure. It's what people felt truth. Being sure of something comes before having a thought. You know you're on the right track when you feel calm even when things are going crazy. You will miss this inner master if you expect him to give you a clear, step-by-step plan. How then do you get to this voice? Not by trying to find out more, but by making more space inside for silence. Just pause before making a choice. Close your eyes. Take deep breaths. Feel. Do not think. Feel. What come to mind when your mind isn't making any plans? That's the voice. It won't try to turn you around, it will just show you. But this voice doesn't always make you feel better right away. Sometimes it leads to the tougher path. Because it doesn't care about making you comfortable, it wants to help you get better. And it's not always easy to remember things. In this area, the mind sets up the most complex trap. The mind knows it's losing control when you start to connect with this inner truth. Then it puts on a spiritual mask. It says in a low voice, "You're different now. You now know more than other people. You're unique." If you think that, you'll fall into the same trap that thousands of other people do, the ego or spirit. Now we've reached the most delicate and dangerous part of the trip. That person was what Thoth called the final enemy. The enemy isn't very loud, it sounds like a whisper. A whisper that sounds so good that many people think it's the voice of wisdom. Not just any ego. This is the ego. The ego is the one who wears a light mask. That part of you that acts like a master is your ego. Thoth said that the last trap is not in the world. It's the quiet pride that comes up when someone thinks they're special because they woke up. This observer loop is the smartest one. This person gets lost right where they thought they were. Lack of knowledge is not the real prison. It's pride that looks like wisdom. Your ego stays with you. It only changes clothes. It changes the mask from "I'm not enough" to "I am more than enough. I am more than them. I'm an awakened being, different from those who are still asleep," is the moment you realize you're in trouble. When people are split up, there is no unity. There is no true coherence where there is no unity. This is why a lot of people who try to find the light end up making spiritual judgment, a new kind of darkness. They see the world and feel better than everyone else. They get information and transformation mixed up. They forget that real light doesn't shout, it's not flashy. It is what it is, in silence. What makes you sure you're not in this trap? When you feel like telling other people how to live, that's when it shows up. When you judge people in silence for being stuck in habits you've broken. There is no one who needs to keep up with true coherence. It walks quietly. Watch how you react. What do you say when someone questions your beliefs, with calm or with self-defense? The spiritual ego has to be right all the time. No one needs to be persuaded by awakened consciousness. It knows that each soul has its own time. Our egos feed on our need to be unique. You've reached true transcendence when you let go of that need too. When you stop trying to be someone else and just are. You don't have to fight this ego. You just stop giving it food. Don't compare things, you must stop measuring. Not many people get to this point. It's not over yet though. It's getting ready for the last return. At this point, there is no longer a I or a other. There is no more way, just being. Are you ready to give up everything? Even your spiritual self? Because that's the only way to get back to the source. At that very moment, something quiet takes place. The ego was hoping for a big show, but what seems to be there is a simple, deep silence inside. You understand that everything you were looking for was inside you the whole time. Not as a goal-setting task, but as an everlasting presence that was never, ever gone. This was what Thoth called conscious unity. This is known as quantum coherence. There is no longer any space between you and the universe here. There is no longer a seeker or sought. Observer is not all you are. The observer is you. You are the quantum field. Living in the world, it made you believe that life itself is the answer, so you no longer need to look for them. No one is left to ask any more questions. Being is the only thing there is. How does this show up in your life? In a way that might surprise you. It's not a state of mind where you float away. The opposite is true. When you breathe with presence, conscious unity shows up. As you drink water, think about the miracle that is that simple act. Every normal action turns into a holy act, not because it changed, but because you became more aware of it. God is no longer separate from everyday life. It's life. There's no need for rituals to feel close. You should only be here and not wish you were somewhere else. Defeat has been reached. And where there is no resistance, the source's energy flows freely, but the mind could still try to make this into a new idea. But you can't explain real unity. It's only possible to live. You are still a person, you still feel, you are still having trouble. Now, though, everything takes place in a bigger area. Somewhere where pain doesn't hold you back. You see both pain and happiness as clouds that pass through the big, endless sky of your mind. This goes back to the source. It doesn't take you away from everything. It changes the way you live there. Thoth tells you the secret he never wrote down when you get to this point. The key isn't a secret code or old method that has been forgotten. It's something much easier, but also much deeper because of that. Nothing can be lost in the soul, Thoth said. You can remember everything. That's not just a nice figure of speech. It's a law of quantum mechanics. You have had all the knowledge and the link to the source inside you since before you were born. Your quantum signature will always be there. That was always true, even when everything around you tried to make you forget. Even when you were stuck in an observer loop for a very long time, it was only hidden by layers of forgetfulness. Think of your soul as a lake that is deep and quiet. The world's waves move on the surface, making people scared and confused. On the other hand, the lake is always calm and holds the truth in its waters. That quiet depth is always there, ready for you to remember it, even when you feel lost, broken, or confused. Thoth taught that forgetting is just a cloud that goes away. The soul will always remember things. You might have thought you were your pain, your mistakes, or yourself. That was only a story, though nothing was ever lost in you. Let this truth hit you hard. If this hits you deep down, click like to make this memory permanent. It tells the universe that you understand and accept this important truth when you recognize the perfect, eternal quantum signature that you have always been. You wake up the memories that have been dormant in your DNA. This is the most important truth. Take this to heart. If you know this in your heart, I want you to seal this honor. Say this simple but powerful thing in the comments. I remember what I am. This is for you, not just the video. Every cell in your body and every atom in your field will know that the search is over. This is an act of quantum remembrance. The forgetting is over. How do you get to that memory? You can't try, not by looking for, but by getting into a deep state of listening to yourself. The soul doesn't shout. It talks softly, and you have to turn down the noise to hear it. It's not a mental process to remember things. It is a spiritual acknowledgement. There's no need to find facts. The idea is to see what has always been true in this very moment. It's like putting on a light when it's dark. The furniture is not made by the light. It only shows what was there before. What's the most beautiful part? This awareness doesn't judge you. Even if you've lived a long time away from it, it does nothing but wait. Be patient. When you stop looking out and start feeling in, it will be ready to remember. That's why Thoth said, "The real seeker is not one who gathers knowledge, but one who learns to be silent." Due to the fact that silence makes you stop looking and you begin to remember. Today, after everything, After clearing the mind, getting past the illusions, and remembering something that was long forgotten, something finally happens. There is a living memory there, an event that changes everything about you. When Thoth talked about full awakening, he meant this. And now the promise from the start. You understand that you are not the character going through the temporary dramas. You're not the fear. You're not the hurt. You are the one who saw everything. You are the mind that no one of those things ever touched. Everything else was just the weather. You are the sky. In that understanding, life goes on, things go wrong. Feelings come up. They make you who you are, though. They don't pull you. Here is the real secret, that you can't tell anyone why this truth was kept secret. An infinite observer, a human can no longer be controlled once they realize who they really are. The whole world is waiting for this freedom. For those of you who feel free after reading this transmission, please share it. It is a quantum entanglement to share this video. You are sending this high-frequency signal into the collective field. This makes it easier for all the other souls on this path to find it and awaken with you. They can't be controlled by outside forces, fear, or beliefs that hold them back. It's impossible to control the soul once it realizes that it is the one breaking down reality. Because power doesn't come from outside. It was never there. It's been inside you the whole time, waiting for you to notice. At this point, fear goes away. Since there's nothing left to guard, there's nothing more to look for. What you lost doesn't define you anymore. This gained stuff doesn't make you better than you are now. Now this is complete freedom. You don't have to prove who you are anymore. Things get lighter. No one can take away your calm, even when things are bad. Because outside threats no longer keep you safe. It comes from inside the quantum field. It was Thoth who said this was the real awakening. To keep in mind who you've always been, even when life gets tough. Being in the world, but not of it, is what it means to live, to dance with existence. But never forget that there is a silent mind watching the dance. There is no longer anything to seek. Because everything you've been looking for was inside you the whole time. Now you don't just believe that. You can feel it. It's something that no one can take away from you. You've made it this far because you're starting to remember something. Your quantum signature is becoming active. I want you to say something to the universe in the comments. Write them out exactly as they are. I am remembering who I am. I want to know who really felt this change right now. To help this channel share more messages like these, there is a special link in the first comment that has been pinned. Click on it to join the mission. This frequency can reach the people who need it most, with any help. Don't stop here before you leave either. This is only the beginning of the strong observer loop. Here on the screen, I've chosen a special video for you so that we can keep going on this journey. I'll show you the next key there. I'll meet you there after you click on it. Also, make sure you subscribe before you leave. If you haven't already, this is your last promise. When you subscribe, your energy field is aligned with the frequency of this channel. This keeps you in touch with this stream of consciousness. You are telling everything that you are determined to stay awake. I'll talk to you again on the next call.